But with a very tight battle between Yukio Sasahara and Jack Duhan, the action is sure to be electric. Stay tuned with us. But before the race starts, let's have a quick look of last round highlight.
Once they're out, we're underway with race number 7 of the 2019 season. The field further back. There was contact. That looks like the two super license, the local team. In the world, F4, F3, F2, F1, and we're underway. Doing right, a screen gets another lightning start. What can they do off the line? And they're away.
Next to me is pole position Yukio Sasahara. So Yukio, today's track condition is totally different from yesterday. What's your approach for today's race?
Yeah, we're gonna have a quite hot day today. So I think I expect more degradation on the tire. So yeah, I could start on from pole. So let's see how it goes and try to manage the tire, I think. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. 刚刚呢，我是问到Yukio，因为他上一场比赛，昨天呢我们是下雨的天气，这个天气非常的冷，也非常的湿。那么今天呢是一个非常大晴天了。那么他还提到呢，在这场比赛当中呢，他会保持这个使用的轮胎，因为天气会非常的热，轮胎的损耗会加强，他会保持这个轮胎的持续性，然后希望能因为从杆位发车，他也希望今天呢能拿到一个好的成绩。Back to you guys.恭喜你啊！第一次从前排发车，那么而且又来到了你的家乡。那么对于今天的比赛，你有一个什么样的期待呢？
我现在是正赛第2发车，我现在感觉我人还有我的车整体水平都不错，希望能得到一个好的成绩。
Okay, thank you. So I just asked Cao Zhuo, how does he think about today's race? Because he's also from his hometown. He said he started from P2, which is a good position. Also, his car is in a very good condition, so he hoped he could get a good result. Back to you guys. Okay, Jack, so you are in a very tight battle for the overall championship with Yukio now, and also you start P3 today. So what's your plan for today's race?
Try and get a good start and then manage the tires. It's really hot here. So yeah, I guess as we saw in qualifying, the time came really early, so the tires turn on really quickly. So yeah, just going to try and manage the tires, not use too much, and hopefully I can get to the front.
Okay, cool, thank you. 刚刚我问到 Jack 呢，他对今天，因为他和 Yukio 在争夺这个总排名的冠军的这个位置。那么今天他从第3位发车，他有一个什么样的计划？他说今天天气非常的热，他的主要的也是想要保存这个轮胎，怎么保存轮胎的使用，而且争取能拿到前面的位置。Back to you guys.
那么对于 Jack Doohan 来说呢，他已经比较早的去接触到我们的亚洲3级方程式的赛车。当然，他的父亲呢也是大家非常非常知名的MotoGP 世界摩托车锦标赛94年到98年连续5年的年度世界冠军。所以其实从4轮到2轮圈这样的一个后代名门之后的跨界是在赛场当中是非常少见的。所以这边我们也是看到车手们将准备进行暖胎圈。暖胎圈还有1分钟左右的时间就将开始。去2个周末欣赏到我们洲际系列方程式赛在亚洲的最高级这样一个整合的程度。玩过电竞的车手应该是更加清楚一些啊。1180，哦，后面有车手应该是滑出去了，应该是陆浩文的赛车出了13号弯。这个和2006年在雨中啊 F1 中国站库比卡在这边打滑的位置是一样的。看起来陆浩文的赛车并没有马上回到赛道当中，看一下是不是死火了。但是现在赛段有黄旗，看一下画面能不能给到啊？这边暂时继续给到的是曹卓。曹卓呢，现在对于 Jack Doohan 的位置防守来说还算可以。Jack Doohan 并没有能够在入弯前对于曹卓有一个非常非常近距离的攻击，也就是说没有进入到攻击范围。在前3个弯，我们注意到曹卓的走线有一点点偏防守，那这样的话，他需要在3号弯很快的调整自己的走线，以防止出3号弯之后，后面的 Jack Doohan 找到机会超越。这边 Jack Doohan 在3号弯的路肩上的有一点点多，这样出弯的速度也不会特别快。哦，这边2辆赛车走线也是有很大差别的。到6号弯入弯，哇，曹卓这边。
Kanemaru, you get the car off the line. Certainly it worked for Ukyo Sasahara, recently crowned Japanese champion of Carrera Cup. No real surprise that a young driver at the peak of the game in the region in an open wheeler can step into a GT or a Carrera Cup car. It's effectively a GT car. And be fast. Certainly was points leader comfortably by the midpoint of the season, went on to a comfortable championship win against some pretty spirited competition. There's a great heritage of motorsport in Japan. Sasahara weathered that storm to take that title. He'll be hoping nothing more than to take maximum points, especially with Daniel Cow running as a menace in between he and Jack Doohan. Now Doohan really needs to try and get past the man in the number 5 Absolute Racing entry, because as it stands at the moment, he'll take 15 points to his title rival's 25. That advantage from 8 points stretches out to 18 if things end this way. Teams all watching on down there, just keeping track of what's going on. We've got some splits. So the gap between Sasahara and Daniel Cow says 0.4 of a second. Now I reckon that's dropped over the course of the last lap. That could be interesting. So yeah, it certainly has dropped. No, that's the battle for 2, 3 and 4, I'm sorry. Picked up the wrong high-tech car. We come to the line again. It says now there's 35/100, so 1/3 of a second separates position 1 and 2. Certainly looks more than that. Half that gap back to Jack Doohan. And now it's stretching out a little bit to Brendan Leach, although that's not really what I'm seeing on screen. Brendan Leach isn't letting those 2 cars in front of him away. Jordan Dempsey, position number 5. Jackson Walls, position 6. Ed Simmons, up to position 7. Kwa Yu, position 8. Tommy Smith, position 9. The young Australian did a good job earlier in the year. Qualified towards the front of the field. Here is the restart. Whoa, that's a pretty impressive start. You can see the car stranded rear of field. Unfortunately, Yu Kanemaru having a tough run. Someone's getting a bit heavy-handed on the EVS. That was an aborted overtaking move from Jack Doohan. He tried around the outside at turn 7 into turn 8, but ultimately Daniel Cow closed the door. There is his teammate, Ishan Peiris, who was running in position 5. So Ishan Peiris is the one that's had dramas somewhere whilst we've been watching the leaders, and I apologise if anyone saw that top of screen. I've been watching between the timing monitor and the screen. He is now back in position number 11. The other thing that's interesting is Thomas Ludi's dropped back from Paul Wong. So Paul Wong is shown as... I won't try for the splits because this timing is all over the shop at the minute. He is shown in position number 10. Thomas Ludi shown in position number 12. Here's a chance. Jack Doohan defending with all he has over Brendan Leach. Brendan Leach is going to try the inside. Needs to be very careful. He's on the slippery part of the circuit now as they come down to the braking point. Can he pull it up and close the door? Yes, he has. What's Doohan got? Has he got any drive off the corner? He won't go around the outside into turn 16 here at Shanghai very successfully. He'll just have to drop back into position 4. Now, this isn't working well for the young Australian. 8 points the advantage coming in. He's dropped back now another 3 points. So 12 points to 25 now for Sasahara. The way things are, he'll be keen to address this. Will he get up the inside into turn 1 and then 2 for Leach? No, he won't. So Brendan Leach, we've seen this a number of times this year. What he needs to do, though, the Black Arts Racing driver, the New Zealander, is complete this. Again, he's doing double duty like Paul Wong this weekend with Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia. And he will need to make sure that he doesn't put a foot wrong from this point on. He's back on the podium. We haven't seen that enough this year. Here is the passing move on that long back straight. Nearly 800 metres down the back straight to turn 14. He got up the inside, kept the door closed. Jack Doohan now drops back out of position. Brendan Leach showed great promise at the start of the year, but has had a mixed time. He's been in a position to battle for the podium a number of times this year and come off the circuit. In fact, Brendan Leach, despite his pace, only been on the podium 3 times from 9 races this year. He needs more of that. He has the ability, he has the talent. Lamborghini have seen that. They've put him into Super Trofeo Asia. And a young New Zealander who's been a star in his home country. There's a long legacy of talented drivers from New Zealand come to this part of the world. Vanderdrift, Bamba. There's been a few of them. There's Jackson Walls in the objective entry. Father Tony, a GT competitor in Australia. Most recently a 650S GT3, so potentially something for Jackson Walls to look at down the track. But he is currently situated back in position number 6 and can't do much. In fact, I was going to say can't do much about the driver in front of him. The driver in front of Jack Doohan, Brendan Leach, is actually now pulling away. So Doohan's not actually getting what he needs out of the number 2 entry at the moment. Could be again that he's set up to come on later in this race. We're only a third of race distance down now. Still just under 20 minutes left on the clock as Jackson Walls again takes a look at the rear of Jordan Dempsey. Sasahara now. Says he's out by 14/100ths of a second. I'd hazard it's a little bit more than that. In fact, it should be 1.7 seconds. So I'll just ignore the gap for a moment. Look at total race time, 10:25.4 to 10:27.1, 10:29.3. So nearly 4 seconds back for Brendan Leach from the race leader. Jack Doohan critically in this championship, 10:30.8, 5.4 seconds down from the race leader. Not looking good at the moment. He may have an issue, but as we say, 9 races into this championship, Hi-Tech GP have been absolutely flawless. 5 wins to Sasahara, 4 to Doohan. And in those races where the other didn't win, 3 of them Sasahara's finished second, 4 of them Doohan has finished second. The only flaw in an otherwise perfect championship so far this year came during the final 2 races, the most recent races of the championship, races 8 and 9 at Suzuka. And, unfortunately for Doohan, Sasahara had been given a drive-through penalty for some contact with Petr Tarcek, who's not here this weekend. And that had him further down the order. Doohan was making the most of that, was leading the field around. There'd been an issue for Brendan Leach at Degna 2, just before he go under the tunnel at Suzuka. They needed to remove him from the barriers. And during that safety car intervention, unfortunately for Doohan, I need to read it because it was quite an unusual issue. I've written it down here somewhere. He triggered the car's throttle fail-safe algorithm. Now that's a mouthful. Electronics, basically. So he rolled to a stop coming through Spoon Curve, got the car going again. They actually called the safety car one more time because they thought he wouldn't get it going. That created a little bit more of an issue that caught out a couple of other drivers, one of which wound up in the barrier. In fact, I think it was the second of the super licence entries. And ultimately, Doohan regrouped, but amassed just a solitary point in the championship battle. By contrast, the drama for Sasahara, in fact he made that contact with Tarcek in the most recent round 9 of the championship at Suzuka, he wound up with just 2 points. So that allowed Doohan to close the gap. Ooh, Dempsey just throwing the car around. Under pressure from Walls, you could see him coming through turn 2. A little bit of oversteer, just carrying speed into the corner. Might help him on tyre wear, and it could be too that the heat is starting to affect the cars. A hard compound, the GT Competition GTR 1 control tyre. But again, these cars aren't supposed to be easy to drive. They don't have power steering. They don't have a lot of the nice electronic aids that you will get in a modern GT3 car. Very much focused on gentleman drivers. This is a development formula that, as we say, ultimately leads F4, F3, F2 to the very top echelon of motorsport with F1. And you don't get there by using electronic driver aids. You get there by being able to physically throw these cars around. And there's a good example of that from Jordan Dempsey at the moment, as he sits immediately in front of Jackson Walls. Jackson Walls 16, Jordan Dempsey 18. Behind them, Ed and Simmons, number 3, British VRDC, British F3 Championship with 1 round to go. Silverstone next weekend. So he's had a solid year too, 3 wins in that championship battle. A number of these drivers doing double duty. Sasahara we spoke about. He's doing it in a GT car. Brendan Leach, also a GT car in Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia. Paul Wong, a GT car. Jack Doohan also competing in Euro Formula Open, using effectively an F3 car, Dallara chassis, different tyre, but good experience for the 16-year-old. He is currently 7th in that championship after 6 of 9 rounds, and the 3rd in the rookies battle. The young New Zealander, we're talking about talented New Zealanders. Liam Lawson is leading the rookies battle in that one, competing against him as well. Remember, Doohan just 16 years of age. Son of 5-time motorcycle Grand Prix champion, Mick Doohan, who's often in the garage down there with his son. Listed as British. We don't like that as Australians. He's definitely an Aussie. Just like the old man. Often the location of the licence for a driver will be considered their, well, not necessarily their birthplace, but their nationality when listed for driver introductions, and certainly during listings for results. I'm just keeping one eye on the current things as they stand. So total time, race distance, 14:37.4 for Sasahara, 14:38.4, so just a second now. Daniel Cow's closing down that lead. It'd be nice to see the front of the field because things are starting to heat up at the front. This is the battle for 5, 6 and 7. Brendan Leach, 40.5. So he's 3 seconds back. Doohan really is struggling. He's 6.5 seconds back now from his title rival. This is a big hit to points. This is the first flaw in, again, what has been an otherwise perfect championship for both he and Sasahara and for the high-tech GP team. There is the race leader in the number 1. Now, Doohan, unfortunately, is under fire. Now, that may well be Kanemaru. It's a white and red car. So let's rule that one out, because next one in line is Jordan Dempsey. Orange, red, orange and black entry further back for Pinnacle Motorsport, battling in that fight over 5, 6 and 7 with Jackson Walls and Etten Simmons. In fact, the battle, the distance now 8 seconds between Jack Doohan and Jordan Dempsey. But no denying the race leader. What's the gap now as they cross the line? Well, it's still a second. Daniel Cow sitting in there comfortably in what will be his best run of the year. In fact, if we go back to his best results for this season, he's 3rd in the championship. He himself has 4 podium positions for the year, 1 second place in round 8 at Suzuka, and 3 third-placed finishes, all of those coming behind the two championship standouts this year, Yukio Sasahara and Jack Doohan. So Doohan, strangely, out of the equation. You can see just how big the gap is there. You can't even see him as the cars now turn into turn 6. This is the full-length Grand Prix circuit. It does run as a shorter venue between turn 4 and comes out in the exit of turn 7. About here, you can see it just in the foreground there. Background now, top of the hill, under the bridge, you can see the shorter circuit, but this is the full Grand Prix circuit at 5.45 kilometres. It's what we traditionally run with GT competition and with the open wheelers. Kanemaru back in pit lane, the number 8 entry. The good thing is it's going. That's helpful. Looks like Rio Fukuda, it certainly is, in the middle of the car with the headset on. Former BAR Honda F1 test driver. Japanese F3 champion. Of course, there is a very strong Japanese open wheel championship. Through to Super Formula, Super GT, their leading GT category. Great culture in Japan and a lot of support for these drivers when we were in Suzuka last time round. Third stop of the season, mid-June. A lot of fans to wave on this man, Kanemaru, and his teammate. Unfortunately for them, he got eliminated on the line for round 7. That was a setback, so one of the cars eliminated immediately, and Kanemaru a little bit behind the 8 ball for much of the weekend. They did have somebody to cheer though. It's the man they're cheering right now, of course. They may be doing that from Japan, watching online. Welcome to everybody around the world keeping tabs on the F3 Asian Championship certified by FIA. Yukio Sasahara heads towards his 6th win of the year. And that would be a 60% strike rate if he takes it. This is the 10th race of season number 2 for the F3 Asian Championship. Of course, we had the Winter Series in the off-season. Allowed a number of drivers to turn laps and across that championship and the F3 Asian Championship last year. It was dominated, of course, by High-Tech GP, as is season 2019. Sasahara leading this championship by 8 points coming into this race over Jack Doohan, who is a long way back now in position number 4. 18.57.1 last time round to 18.49.2. So he's got it under 9 seconds, so he may be mounting somewhat of a recovery. Last lap time to Jack Doohan, 2:06.5. Sasahara, by contrast, 2:05.8. 2:06.1 for Daniel Cow. 2:05.9 for Brendan Leach. Best lap for Jack Doohan, 2:05.1. That's only 3/10 off the pace of the likes of Sasahara, only 2/10 slower than Daniel Cow, and in fact 4/10 faster than Brendan Leach. So that tends to support the theory that there may be an issue with the number 2 High-Tech Grand Prix entry. Doohan's just hanging in there, nothing to be gained from hitting pit lane. It'd be a huge punishment to his championship points if that happened. At the moment, it would be 25 points to Sasahara with less than 10 minutes to go if things finish this way. There is Doohan top of screen. Yes, it is Doohan top of screen. Still in position number 4. 12 championship points, 13 different. 8 was the advantage coming in. That would mean that for tomorrow's race, which starts at 10:20 a.m. local time, it would be a likely 21-point advantage to Yukio Sasahara, now with 7 points separating the two in that championship. Doohan would need to win at least the next 3 races to get back on an equal footing. Sasahara would be pretty keen for that to not happen. Now, I'm surmising that there may be a technical issue with Doohan's car when his quickest lap is faster than Brendan Leach and mere 10th slower than his teammate and Daniel Cow. At the moment, he's circulating well off that pace, 2:06.6 as opposed to 2:05.1, whereas the race leader's about 1.3 seconds off his ultimate pace. But Daniel Cow and Brendan Leach circulating 8-9 of a second slower than their ultimate best. Doohan unable to be any quicker than 1.5 seconds, but consistently he's been off that pace since that time. He may have grabbed a tie. Brendan Leach, he finishes 3rd in this race, the pink and black colours of the Black Arts Racing operation. And left of screen, that is Daniel Cow for Absolute Racing. We'll be happy with that too. But fairly subdued for Sasahara. He'd be well aware that further behind him is Jack Doohan, and he has extended his championship points advantage as we head into tomorrow's races 11 and 12. Let's listen a little bit, see if we can pick something up from down on the grid before we talk to the drivers.
Another close win. Do you feel any pressure from outdoor this round?
Yeah, honestly, really one of the tough race I think in the season. We struggle in the race pace, to be honest, and Carl just quick every lap. So I was a bit getting nervous in the last few laps, but in the end I could manage the tire degradate and we keep the lead. So I must thanks for the high-tech team and really happy for that.
You still have a very confident performance.
Yeah.
Thank you. 刚刚我问到Yukio呢，他这场比赛又拿到从单位发车又一次拿到了冠军。那他有没有觉得车后面的曹卓给他很多的压力呢？那他也提到，的确是这样，因为曹卓追得越来越紧，让他呢就越来越紧张，越来越紧张。不过呢，他还是在最后很好的就是使用了轮胎，保持了轮胎的状态，然后最后拿到了冠军。Back to you guys.
Well, interesting. That was the big call before the start of the race with the increased ambient temperature, and certainly that has a big effect on track temperature. And the bright sunshine also an additional impact on track temperature. It's about 34.5 degrees before the start of the race track temperature. But that certainly played into things, and you heard Ukio Sasahara talking about tyre degradation, a very hard compound tyre, but again, it's done qualifying. It has to go through 2 more races. They've got a couple of sets to do that, but they need to manage those sets and get the most out of them. So with any luck, we might hear from Daniel Cow shortly. Looks like Feline's just chasing him around the car. He's talking about racing off to Podium, but some of these drivers, well, they need a little bit of an exercise in how to deal with the media. But let's shoot down to Feline. Looks like she has the driver who placed second in race number 10.
哇哦，曹卓今天的表现非常的不错啊！你一直是跟Yukio只有大概1秒多的一个差距，那么你觉得其实是不是还有进步的空间呢？
进步的空间是有的，然后我们前3辆的车水平都差不多，车子也调教差不多。我从起步的时候，跟窦汉斗了一会儿，所以损失了很多的速度，最后慢慢的追到了1秒左右的距离，但是始终没法靠近。我觉得这应该就是有一种叫做进弯会贴近，出弯会被拉开，像F1那样子。所以我觉得进步空间还是有的，但是需要我自我的提升，还有我对车的了解。
Thank you. I just asked Cao Zhuo how do you think about his performance today? He said that he still have a lot of space to improve himself because he can feel like there's in the beginning of the race he had a small battle with Jack Duhan and he lost some time. But after that he keep trying to push himself to get close to Yukio. But in the end he still couldn't get close. But he thinks he still can improve himself for the next round. Back to you guys.
Certainly Daniel Cow has got a little bit of work to do, just doing a preliminary provisional update on the championship points. 206 to Sasahara, 185 to Do and 113 to Daniel Cow. Now, here we are before the start of the race. That was the number 12 entry of Ayrton Simmons, who would not have the greatest of runs. Now, it would have been nice to see a slower start. There we go. There is the battle of the front of the field. Sasahara managed to move across in front of Daniel Cow. and closed the door. He then set about establishing an early gap. Doohan was third early as this battle between Jordan Dempsey and Jackson Walls carried on. It's the number 9 entry of Thomas Liudi in the Masters battle. He lost that to Paul Wong again, unfortunately. Now here's Daniel Cow, stuck with the leader. This is Liudi having a drama down at turn 6. And it may have been one to force him out of this race. Anyway, by the time we got to checkered flag, it was win number 6 for Ukyo Sasahara. Unfortunately for his teammate Jack Doohan, couldn't do any better than 4th. Was well back at the flag, in fact 13 seconds down from his title rival. So that was a very, very big battle. Going through the replay again, in case you missed it. Watch the battle at the front of the field. Sasahara was on right of screen. He moved across to close the door on Daniel Cow. Doohan initially third, but then ultimately couldn't do anything about a storming Brendan Leach. Seemed there may have been a technical issue with the number 2 high-tech Grand Prix entry. We'll find out some more about that. Keep up to date with the action. www.f3asia.com. The drivers also watching on middle of screen in the all black. Brendan Leach, Sasahara right of screen, Daniel Cow left of screen. They have done a terrific job for that race. The man behind the F3 Asia Championship, certified by the FIA, Leda Gobby on right of screen. As we get set for the podium, we'll take you to Podium and then stay with us after the 2 podiums, of course, for the outright winners and for the Masters battle. We go through to the press conference. Of course, we close out the 2019 season, the second season of the F3 Asian Championship, certified by the FIA. Make sure you join us right back here, 26th to the 28th of September. Of course, 26th is practice, 27, 28 qualifying, and the final 3 races of the season. Races 13, 14 and 15, Shanghai International Circuit, China. Looks like we're down to 1 podium. Unfortunately, the demise of both the Masters drivers in that race, it seems. But here is your winner, Ukyo Sasahara, for the 6th time from 10 races this season.
Ukyo Sasahara. Second place, car number 5 from Absolute Racing, Daniel Cao. 获得亚军的车手是来自绝对车队的5号车手曹卓。Third place, car number 86 from Black Ops Racing, Brendan Leach. 获得季军的车手是来自 Black Ops Racing 的86号车手 Brendan Leach. Now let's invite Mr. Masahiko Ida, President of Dixel Company Limited and DJ Holdings Limited, to present the trophy to the winners.
Masahiko Ida, a great supporter of motorsport in this part of the world, a competitor himself, has turned laps in a variety of cars over the years.
Master Cup winners, winner of Master Cup,
And here
car
is
number
the winner
44 from 852 Challengers,
once more. Paul Wong takes top honours.
冠军的是来自852
Looks like
Challengers.
Thomas Liudi may well have been a retirement from this race after that off down at turn 6.
Now it's my honor to invite
So he extends his advantage, does Paul Wong, alongside the man he also competes
present the
in
trophy to Master Cup
against
winner.
in Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia. Paul Wong wants that top step, and why not? He's worked hard for it. Leda Gobby, and from Top Speed, responsible for this fantastic championship.
Now let's invite Ida-san again to present the second and third trophy to our overall winners. Thank you. Now let's have group photo.
Great third to Brendan Leach, second to Daniel Cow. Victory again to Sasahara and Paul Wong, top honours for the Masters. Don't go away. We go into the press conference. No doubt there'll be some additional words from the drivers and an update as to how this race panned out. Stay with all the news on f3asia.com. Make sure you join us tomorrow from 10:20 a.m. local time here in China for race 2 this weekend, race number 11 in the 15 race championship. And tomorrow afternoon at 2:50 p.m, race 3, all 30-minute races. Looks like champagne time. And stay with us with the presentation and the press conference.
The Shanghai Round 4 press conference of race 1 for this weekend. Congratulations to the top two finishers. Brandon, unfortunately, has to go straight away into his Lamborghini race, so he can't be here with us today for the press conference. Ukyo, congratulations on your win number 6. Another faultless race, and we were wondering, were you going flat out, or were you maintaining your tires, or?
Yeah, we go flat out, but obviously the tire degraded quite a lot than I expected. So lap by lap, I knew that the car was much quicker than me, so I was a bit worried that, but in the end I could manage the gap, and so it's happy. And this win for Antoine for last weekend, and also his family, and also I'm wishing speedy recovery for Yuan Manya because he's now in the hospital. So yeah, yeah, I don't know what to say, but yeah, thanks to the team.
All right, thank you very much. Daniel, congratulations. How important is it for you to do well in front of your home crowd?
Sorry?
How important is it for you to do well in front of your home crowd here in China?
I think now I'm doing my best. Before our team have practice here, and our practice time is very good, I think. But in the race, high-tech car is quite fast, and our 3 car the time is almost the same, and I think this race I'm very enjoyed.
Okay, I was looking at the lap times and the sector times. I think there was not a sector that was more often 1/10 than it was going back and forth, back and forth. How hard is it to follow like quite close by? Is it, you think that will affect your performance and your tire wear over the length of the race?
In the final some laps, our tires quite old, and I get on the steer when I behind the Sasahara, and it's very hard to catch here.
Okay, one more last question. Do you think you can do something to beat him for the next 2 races? And what will it be?
Hope not.
Maybe.
You're not going to reveal what it's going to be, right? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, just a quick picture.